Since retaking office, President Trump has been redecorating the White House to reflect his personal style. A style which can be best described as C-3PO's taint. And it's a project that's still continuing today.
The White House is unveiling a presidential walk of fame featuring portraits of U.S. presidents.
Oh, you know what? This is nice. But if I was president, I wouldn't plaster every foot of the place with gold, but if you're going to, this is a nice, inclusive gesture. Mr. Trump, I applaud your class.
With the exception of former President Joe Biden. The new display just outside the Oval Office along the colonnade there shows a framed photo of an auto pen writing Biden's signature in place of the former president's portrait.
Damn it! He got me! So, apparently Trump is trolling Biden about the auto pen conspiracy. A hilarious burn that will make millions of Americans say, wait, what was that about again? But enough of this dumb story about the president's pettiness. Let's move on to a much more terrifying story about the president's pettiness.
This morning, after an intense public pressure campaign, sources tell ABC News President Trump's new hand-picked U.S. attorney plans to give him what he's been demanding and seek to indict former FBI Director James Comey, despite other prosecutors finding there's not enough evidence to charge him with a crime.
I don't know what's worse, Donald Trump weaponizing the Justice Department or the fact that he's doing it to go after James Comey. I mean, Trump, he's the dude who got you elected president. Remember, he announced a few days before Election Day that he was investigating Hillary for her email server. And America was like, we can't have a president with such disrespect for proper procedure. Let's elect Donald Trump instead. Like Donald, a question, Donald, how can you go after a guy who played a key role in you winning the election? What's next? Are you going to go after podcasts with names like the Chode Kings or Roiding Out with the Jizz Brothers? I mean, you don't even know if that's a real podcast or not. He may have appeared on that. Look, now, even though prosecutors say they don't have a case against Comey, Trump seems to have found a loophole. Appoint a prosecutor who doesn't care.
Sources say the president forced out his own appointed U.S. attorney for Eastern Virginia, replacing him with one of his personal lawyers, Lindsay Halligan.
Wow. One of his personal lawyers. She must have a ton of experience in the criminal justice system. I bet she knows her way around a grand jury.
Halligan, an insurance lawyer, has never prosecuted a criminal case in her career or presented evidence to a grand jury.
Okay. This sounds bad, but at least she is a lawyer. I mean, in this administration, that's well above the baseline. There was a really good chance he could have appointed the Jizz Brothers for this job, but you got to figure, if he's trusting Lindsay Halligan to go after his political enemies, the vetting process must have been extremely thorough.
She told the Washington Post that she ended up on Trump's legal team after showing up at one of his golf events in a suit, prompting Trump to hire her just weeks later.
This is how he picks members of his team? You, the lady in the suit, come join my legal team. Does Trump look at David Byrne like, wow, he must have been top of the class at Harvard Law? Wow. And I'm all for dressing for the job you want, but come on, she must have some other qualifications Trump valued.
She's also a former contestant in Miss Colorado, USA.
This is all starting to make sense, though. When Trump hires people, they're either beauty queens or the ugliest bog creatures in the world. So, the bad news is Trump continues to appoint people to positions they're completely unqualified for. But the good news is Trump continues to appoint people to positions they're completely unqualified for. In other words, don't worry, James Comey. You don't have to learn how to make toilet